let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.
Alright folks, the time has come. Today I'm gonna answer some of the most common questions people have been asking me about this journey, about Madrid, about the academy, about pretty much anything I can come up with. There are a lot of people asking questions, and most of you, as I said in the last clip, if you haven't watched that, I'll leave a link up here to that. Most of you ask the same questions, so I figured instead of me spending all my time in the chat answering these questions, which I'm happy to do, but it would be more convenient if there was a video where I answer all these questions. So this is gonna be that video. Before you do anything else, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, it helps out a lot. I'm not gonna go on about that anymore, I know you know that by now. The first question, and the most common question people have been asking me, is how do I finance this? Like how do I afford it, basically? What I did is I worked a lot in Sweden. I worked a lot and saved up a lot of money. I ended up not doing things to spend the money while being at home, just putting them on a pile. Eventually I had enough where I felt like, okay, now I can live on this for a while. So my original plan was actually to stay for 10 months here in Madrid and live off of that money, but I will end up staying for 8 months. Since I spent a little too much in the first couple of months. We went to Malaga to watch the tournament, and like, yeah, I spent a little too much in the beginning, but in the end I do not regret anything of that. I think it's fair to say that you need at least for each month, this depends on how much you spend on a regular basis, I guess, but at least maybe around 1,500. That's what I would say is the minimum to spend on accommodation, the training, food and whatnot, and maybe sometimes you want to spend some money on, I don't know, clothes or buying new training clothes or whatever you might need. Almost covered a little bit of the next question in the previous question, but a lot of you also ask, what does the training cost and how much does it cost to live here? So the trainings all obviously depends on how much you want to train. When I came here, I trained 8 times a week, paddle, and 4 times a week physical, and that went up to a total of 730 euros a month. It might sound like a lot when you think about it right now, but when you think about how many hours you actually put in and they actually put into you, it's not a bad price. It's a really good price, I would say. Right now they have a very good gym, as I've shown you before as well. We have access to a very good gym, which we didn't have when I came here. And for 30 euros a month, you get full access to that gym. And what's included in those 30 euros is a trainer who sets up different exercises, which you do with other paddle players. So if you have like trouble knowing what to train in the gym or whatever, you can just go there, there will be a guy who sets everything up for you and you just join. The only thing you pay is the actual gym membership, which is 30 euros. If you choose to only train 4 times paddle a week, which I'm doing at the moment actually, because I've scaled down my training a little in order to have time for more matches and more physical training, more time in the gym, that is. With the gym membership, that will cost you $3.95 a month, which isn't bad either. It's pretty good. This can obviously be arranged in ways you want. I know that people tend to train 2 times a week, some of them, and then they have another price. It's a very flexible schedule in that sense, you know. Whatever you want to get done, you can get done, pretty much. Other things I spend money on is obviously food. Food is a must. I mean, in order to be able to train this much, you need to have good food. You need to eat good food, and the restaurant that is at the academy offers very good food. It's healthy, nutritious, pretty much everything you can ask for. And it's a reasonable price, I would say. Like, the dishes vary between 7 to 10 euros. And like for me, I can't afford to eat there every day. I ate there a lot in the beginning before I had my accommodation sorted out, and I didn't really have a real kitchen to cook in, you know. So I ended up eating there a lot in the beginning, and it's really good food. I can't complain at all about it. But since like a couple of months back, I cook my own lunch and dinner almost for every night, because that's way more economical and makes it so I can stay here longer. If I were to round up how much I spend on food each month, it would probably be around 300 to 400 euros, I think. Because as I'm saying, you need to eat a lot. You can't be cheap on eating. You can only eat like pasta and chicken nuggets and things like that, because you're not gonna have any energy to train then, and you're only gonna break down your body. You're gonna be sick. You need real food. You need fuel to fuel your body for this amount of training. That's it. Another thing that I spend money on is probably the most important 20 euros you can spend a month, and that's the Metro card. If you are 25 or younger, you can buy a Metro card for 4 euros. That is your individual card. And then you can charge that with monthly subscriptions. That is 20 euros. And I highly recommend this, because when I came here and started traveling with the Metro, I didn't know that this was a thing. Like, in my mind, I obviously knew that there has to be something you can do, but then I realized it's not as easy to get like a monthly subscription as it is in my country. But once you have this, it will save you so much money, because 10 travels, if you buy 10 travels itself, that's 18 euros, like 18.30 I think, compared to 30 days of traveling as much as you want for 20. So what kind of different possibilities is there when it comes to accommodation? So when I came down here, I did as most paddle players who trains at the academy does. They check in to the B&B hotel, which is located just a couple of 100 meters from the club. It's a very affordable hotel. It's around 40 to 50 euros a night. For shorter stays, I would absolutely recommend staying on that hotel, because then you can walk home back and forth between different trainings, and it's very convenient. I know that M3 has like a collaboration with them, so I think you can get like a little discount if you book them through the academy itself. But if you are to stay for a longer period of time and you don't have infinite amounts of money, I would definitely recommend renting an apartment, or at least renting a room, because that's what I did after the hotel. I stayed for 5 nights at the hotel, and then I found a room on a website called Idealista, which is like a place where you can find rental objects and you can buy apartments even. If you want to rent something in Spain, I recommend this website. And I also really recommend you talking Spanish to them, because I started by writing in English and I didn't get any answers, if I'm to be honest. As soon as I started writing in Spanish, some people here and there started answering me, but they didn't want to answer when I wrote in English. So, and the Spanish I wrote in was straight up Google Translate. I didn't speak good Spanish at all when I came here. Now I can speak a little, I can make myself understood. If you know someone who speaks Spanish and can help you out with that, it will be a lot easier for you. I rented a room which was located in Alcorcón as well. And that cost me around 300 euros a month. And this room was not a good room. Like, we did not have heating in the apartment, was barely any hot water. The guy I lived with was just smoking indoors all the time, just being drunk all the time pretty much. So it's not an ideal place to live with when you want to focus on trading and getting the right amount of sleep and food and all those things. But I didn't have much of a choice, so I stayed there for 1.5 months. And then moved in with the people I live with now in another apartment. And then we found this apartment. And this apartment is costing us in total around 1,000 euros a month. And we are 3 people are sharing that. The amount I pay personally would be cheap if I were to get an entire apartment out of it in Sweden. Compare this amount around like 340 each month compared to staying at B&B, which will set you back at least 1,100 a month. Then you can kind of get the feeling of what's more economical in the end. But if you're only here to stay for like 2 weeks, you're not gonna have time to find an apartment. There's nobody who's gonna rent you an apartment either for 2 weeks. Like, it's not happening. So then the hotel is perfect. So if you want to get in contact with the Academy, I would just recommend you to go to their website or use the email I've written in the description and just write them an email. Write them, hi, this is me and I want to do this and this, and can you help me out? It's basically it. Like, it's just a regular academy, there are regular people working there, and they will help you with whatever you consider yourself needing help with. If you use the emails, tell them that you got it from me and that you're interested in coming and training, or they're for coach trainings as well. So how are the trainings looking? Like, how are they set up? What do you do at a training? There will be some exercises, usually like a little control exercise, work in the parallel part of the court, work back and forth like this, while there are also technical exercises where you use the basket and the coach feeds you balls and you do volleys and overheads and stuff like that. And then usually it rounds up with us playing games. Sometimes just normal tie breaks or normal short sets. 50% of the time I would say there are some conditions to the games. Like, for instance, when you are serving, you have to put the 2 first balls to the guy who returned your serve. You have to return with a lob, so they force you to return with a lob, or you have to return with a chiquita, or there are many different. If you do a winner, that counts as double. You find all these tournaments and stuff like that. Is another question I've gotten. Well, it's pretty easy. Like, you will find people who are from Madrid and all of them knows about tournaments, about competitions and whatnot. And you can find this in the Playtomic app. If you have that in your country, I would recommend you downloading it already so you can like get a feeling of how it's working. Otherwise, just ask people. Like, paddle is so big here. There are a lot of people who knows about competitions, about tournaments. It's not hard to find competition, I promise you. Alright, so those were the most common questions I've been asked since I've started with this YouTube, and I hope this gives you an idea. You can continue asking me questions, I don't mind that at all. But those people who doesn't dare to like write to me or whatever, they can just watch this video and get an idea of yeah, things like cost and accommodation and all those basic things, what it takes to actually move down here and just play paddle. I really hope you enjoy this. It's been a little different video compared to the other videos, but I hope it's been informative, and if you have other questions, I can answer them as we go. Just leave them in the comments and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.
Hostia! The baguette car.